Hey Aspie, why don't you pull my red Chevy into the steel shed and pull the transmission out of it? Alrighty boss, I'll get right on that. So in this video, YouTube, we're going to be pulling a 700 R4 out of a two-wheel drive 1991 Chevy two-wheel drive pickup. It's a C1500. Through the wonders of film and editing, I'm going to show you how to do this step by step in under 7 minutes. Let's go. Yeah, get her jacked up. Now the jack stands in position. Yeah. First step was getting it all jacked up off the ground, so I got room to work down there on that creeper. Using 11mm, took the saddles off the rear U-joint on the rear axle. Just pulled out of the rear yoke there, slides out with splines. Put the driveline over there on the ground. Next step, we're gonna take removing all the electrical stuff. So I started out with this plug here, and then there's a bolt that holds the loom up there, and in that plug that my light's on. Wiring harness all loose, and I'm just gonna tuck it up over here on the fuel lines out of the way. Next thing I'm gonna pull is that nut so I can pull that shifter off and out of the way. And to do that, I'm using a 15mm. I put a box end wrench in here, held it that way, pulled the socket, and was able to break that loose. So now get the wrench out of the way and we'll finish undoing that nut. It's spring to that end, so you just kind of push it over and off that, and now it's loose. Next is the starter. So first thing for that is go ahead and pop the hood, and we're gonna undo the battery so we don't arc out none of those wires to go direct down to that starter. So got that positive off there. Now I can undo the starter, not have to worry about starter bolts. They're 14mm, so we'll get both of them removed. I just pull the starter out, and I usually just leave it dangling up there by the wires. Now the starter's out of the way, now we've got this inspection cover on the front of the transmission. Got a bolt here, and it bolts up in the top corners on both sides. So they're a 10mm. I'm gonna go ahead and start getting them out. And just a tip, guys, you can take a piece of cardboard, poke holes in it with a screwdriver, and write down what all the bolts go to, and you poke them into the holes and what size they are. That way when you go to put this all back together, you can just grab the right size, grab the bolts, and you know right where they go, no guessing. The best place that I've figured out for this is from the back of the transmission, and you can reach forward to both of those lines, and they're both 13mm, and you can get them both off and out of the way. Next, up here on the passenger side as well, get that bolt out of there, and it pulls up and out. So the other end of that little cable deal was stuck inside the transmission case, so I came up here, popped it off here, pushed it out of there, so this end of that cable is undone. Now that we've got most of the stuff disconnected from the transmission, got an 18mm wrench, 18mm socket on the big gun, and I'm going to start on these cross-member bolts here on both sides. Alright, so we got the two 18mm out of both ends of the cross-member. Now we've got this 15mm right here in the center. We get out. So now I'm onto the bell housing bolts. Got one out. This one had a nut on it for a hold down for the wiring harness. That nut was a 13 millimeter, so got it out of the way. Now I'm on to the bell housing bolt, which is a 14 millimeter. But they've got this body line right in the way. Sure makes it a pain. And I lied, guys. This one was 14. This one up here is 15 millimeter. So, you know, I'm gonna start getting. I got a tranny jack under here, and I'm gonna pull this cross member out, lower that transmission down. Hopefully that gives me better access to those top bell housing bolts. Wish me luck. Got this 13 millimeter off that top one with an extension, a wobbly, and the impact gun. But that's what makes this job kind of hard, guys. You see, that's just a bracket for something else. Now I got to get it out of the way and actually get the bell housing bolt. Whew. So there's all the bell housing bolts and the nuts that held extra stuff on there. The passenger side was a real pain because of the transmission dipstick. Okay, so now we get this inspection cover out of the way. And we go up here and we start taking out those bolts there. And there's, I believe, 3 of them. They're 15 millimeters. And I'm just using a bar against the teeth here to turn the engine over. Once I got those torque converter bolts out, we slid her back and out. Made a little bit of a mess, because unfortunately no drain plug on this kind of transmission to drain it ahead of time, but that's all right, we got her done. Alrighty guys, hit that thumbs up if you enjoyed the video. Maybe learned something how to pull the transmission out of your truck. I know it's a little bit of an intimidating job, but just break it down into steps like I did. Pull the starter, pull the inspection cover, pull the drive line, pull out the dipstick, pull out the wires, and then it's just little tasks. And once you add it all up, you pull the transmission. So don't be intimidated. Believe in what God gave you. Take on this project. If you enjoy positive, encouraging YouTube videos, watching some dumbass accomplish projects, and encouraging you guys and telling you guys you can too, hit that subscribe button. It's much appreciated by this small YouTuber trying to grow, trying to beat those evil algorithms. Till next time, keep building shit.